Greetings, subjects. This is Isaac, your Royal Herald. Today, we're doing some behind-the-scenes stuff, just talking behind the scenes. We're going to discuss some things, have a good time, maybe shed some insight on Rose Crescent as a whole and how we go about things. Nothing too formal, just kind of going along, seeing what happens. Enjoy. And if everybody wants to introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm JP. I play Petra. You can find me online as Evil Tendencies.
Hello, this is Ira. I play Elisa Snyder.
Hi, I'm Rin, and I play Giaco.
So weird without your normal level of bubbly, over-the-top energy.
You like this?
Yes.
I can do this if you want. I'll do this the whole time. Don't tempt me.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, my nightmares are vivid enough as it is with you only doing that in character.
Rejection.
Welcome to the Rejected Club. Now you know how it feels. All right. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said wow.
All right, you kind of get the ball rolling on here. We're not see, to get the ball rolling here, we're going to just throw some questions out there and see what happens. So, Rose Crescent. Brains. Oh, man. Anyway. So, Rose Crescent. What about the concept or the game or whatnot drew you into wanting to play it?
But what drew me to it?
I mean, you didn't have to say yes. You just could have said, good luck, have at it. We'll see what happens.
Good luck, smell you later. What? Well, fundamentally, what? It was pretty close to, you just kind of invited me out of the blue, and I'm like, yeah, I got nothing better to do. Sure, why not? That being said, I was excited for the project. I think,
because now it's not just my project, it's our project.
Yes, which makes it our failure and our success. But I feel I always okay, so I always find putting clearly cut feminine things in a masculine domain without sacrificing, or at least not sacrificing too much of the feminine, is always interesting to me.
Fair. Nice.
So this is a setting that indulges in that, that style. And so I feel this definitely, it's a setting that definitely has an aesthetic. I think it's neat.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad we can do this for you. All right, bouncing this over to Rin. Same question.
Well, similar to Ira, it was a, hey, you're inviting me into this thing. And I like hanging out with my friends.
It is nice.
Hanging out with friends is fun. Yes, friends are fun. It's nice. Nice friends, yes.
Yeah.
But, I do find the homebrew fusion to be an interesting fusion, for sure. And I also really like sci-fi type stuff in general. Being out in space, fighting space monsters, being space buddies. All good things. All in space.
Space.
And I get to play a psycho. Who can lose?
I mean, psychos are fun, yes. All right, JP, how about yourself?
All right. Well, I've been involved in the project from the earliest phases of the well, not the earliest phases, although I kind of had an idea what you were doing when you were scribbling stuff furtively in your notebook and hiding it from me. But I've been involved with the development from a pretty early stage, and the thing that I wasn't too sure about it at first. The thing that brought me around was that it wasn't just grimdark with sparkles. That it was an actual fusion of two, as Iris said, two different aesthetics. That it has an aesthetic that is a fusion of two different aesthetics. You've got the grimdark, far future kind of thing where everything is awful, and you also have the hopefulness of the magical girl setting, and I find it appealing to explore that. And as you told me more and more about it, I got more and more excited.
Yes, I infected you. Good. Or at the very least, I built up a lot of momentum and caught you in my wake. Wahahaha.
That's a pretty accurate way of describing it, actually.
In all honesty, were these two halves of the fusion separate, I likely would not have been as interested. But blended together, it's very fun.
I want to make a comparison to sour cream and onions. When they're separate, it's just like, but when you put them together, it's like, oh, hey, a tasty chip.
I mean, I like onions, so...
And I forgive you.
Yeah, I'm with Ren on this. If it was just magical girls, I wouldn't be as interested, just because I don't really get magical girls. It's just not something my brain works on. And if it was just the grimdark, I've been exploring grimdark for over 30 years. I got other things I want to try, but together, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I can intrigue you all, and hopefully we're intriguing the viewers. I mean, if they're still listening at this point, clearly we've managed to do something right.
I may be holding some hostage.
We often accept the foibles of our friends, and I'm willing to accept that.
Ignore the donuts in the corner.
That one's not clicking in my head.
She lured them in with donuts.
Right, yes. Okay, well, who doesn't like a good donut? Okay, so I probably should answer the question myself since I asked it. Well, as you a lot have said, the fusion was fascinating. The grimdark, the magical girl stuff just kind of coming together. And I was walking home one day, and the two crashed in my head, and I was like, that seems unlikely, but it'd be kind of funny. And if it was just a passing thing, it would have passed out of my head within the next couple of hours. But instead, it just kind of took root in my brain and was there for days and days. I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll do something with this. Inwardly talking to myself.
Every day when you come home, you've always got either Isaac and I are roommates. Every day when you come home, you've either got a terrible thought or an amusing thought, and you couch them as such. And I remember when you actually told me about this, and you're like, so I had this like terrible and amusing thought. And, yeah, and it was obvious that you found this both like a bit subversive and also highly amusing at the same time.
As I rub my hands together evilly.
Would this be amusingly terrible or terribly amusing?
Depends on the day of the week, maybe?
Fair enough.
So yeah, it came to my head, so I had to do something with it. Now, originally, what I wanted to do was like, make a wiki, do some lore videos, kind of like a 40K lore channel, and but instead of presenting it as something new, try to present it as if it would like had already been there for like years. And I kind of wanted to gaslight the internet into thinking it had existed for years already.
That's beautiful.
The only real hitch to this plan is the lack of art assets.
True. That's what we have Gray for.
Indeed. And hopefully some other artists.
So I know why the lack of art assets makes that funny, but maybe you could explain to our listeners why that is.
Okay, so when I say doing like a lore channel, I was thinking a lore channel like what Warhammer 40K lore tubers generally do. They pick a topic, they essentially write a short essay, and then they, put some of the official art to it, usually regarding the topic that they're speaking on. And they have like literally decades of art to work from. So they have like a lot to go to. And so, unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. So that kind of torpedoed my gaslight the internet plan. So instead, I just decided to present it forward and honest and earnestly. And I'm hoping people like it.
Yeah, me too, because I sure don't.
What?
No, I'm definitely kidding on that one. I hope that carried through.
Okay, so unless somebody has something else they want to chime in, we can move on to the next question, see where that takes us. I will take your silence as consent. Okay.
Consent.
I mean, it works for EMTs.
Yeah, true.
All right, so next question. What is something about the setting that you find appealing or would like to explore more? And I'll throw this to Rin.
I like the creatures. I think you have so far created a few very, interesting species and also some awesome monsters. And, Chiako, I just want to tear them apart.
Very nice, thank you. Yeah, coming up with I have a whole list of monsters, or I have species as well as some monster ideas that I can tap in. The Kaimon were something I kind of came up early on, and I didn't want space elves, but I wanted something that could still be suitably
tree huggy.
Tree huggy, I guess you could say. Something that could fill a space elf's niche, but without just being another space elf. And, they came on. They kind of grew on me.
But tis.
See. I also noticed that Chiaka really wants to, was really misses the opportunity to go after that Space Leviathan. So I assume she wants to go after the Space Leviathan in the future.
Obviously. Duh.
Noted for the future. Alrighty. JP, same question.
I'm sorry, I kind of lost the question in Rin's answer. What was the question?
What is something about the setting you find appealing or would like to explore more?
I really like... So, I'm not as into, or I guess as up on my magical girl stuff as the rest of the crew here. But what I do know of the genre is that there is a sense of hopefulness that even in dark places, good things can happen. And there's a sense of redemption that from what I've seen as well.
This is accurate, yes.
Okay. So the exploration of a character who has gone through some trauma and doesn't wallow in it like somebody in a grimdark setting was and let it destroy them, but who overcomes, works not past it, but through it, and in the process becomes something that other people can look to for hope. I just find that very, very appealing, and that's why I made Petra the way I made her, and so I am very interested in not just exploring that for my character, but for the setting as well. In our pre-game that we did before we started recording, my character just flat out executed a traitor. And
it was hilarious. Or rather, everybody's reaction to it was hilarious.
That was amazing. Getting to explore that sort of like what's the word? Not practical, but pragmatic necessity that Petra brings versus the very straight up and down, but still very hopeful aesthetic that Elisa brings to the table is something I'd also like to see a little bit more of.
Some juicy lore hinting for Petra. Dun dun dun. Okay, okie dokie, Ira.
Howdy.
Same question for you.
I am the weird freak that likes learning how bureaucratic systems work.
So Petra is a bit more of a reflection of you than maybe some of your other characters you've played in other games.
Alicia, yes. Yeah. There's, I find, how do systems work? How do people interact? How do settlements function? I especially find these types of details really interesting in speculative fiction. Your fantasy, your science fiction, because they're different worlds. Things work differently. So, how do things work? How do people get food to the table? How do people, deal with supplies? How do communications work? All of these are things that I always find interesting in the setting. And
how do they get their shipments of bullets and glitter?
how do they get their shipments of bullets and glitter? Do they make them on the ship? Is there supply chains? What is a easy to obtain resource in this future? What is not easy to obtain? What's a strategic resource? What is so cheap that it's basically free? What's so expensive that it's only indulged in by the societal elites?
Good questions for me to consider as I run the game.
Maybe.
Well,
That's really cool, Ira.
Indeed. If I have,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if one of my players, if one of my players' characters is a bean counter, I got to make sure they have beans.
We need the beans.
Anyway, you're saying,
but yeah, and a big reason I like those types of details and settings is because they, themselves tell interesting stories about how the setting exists, how it works.
how it came.
Yeah. And, people have to, and, characters that exist in these settings have to operate in these environments. And this creates tension, this creates needs, this creates wants. This is what creates motives and thus story. A person selling illicit goods on the edge of a galactic empire or kingdom is going, first of all, they have to get these illicit goods from somewhere, and more importantly, they need customers to sell them to, right?
That's usually how selling things goes, yes.
Right. So, the story of why a market exists is the story of what people want, which follows up the question of why do they want these things. So those I'm excited to delve into as we, travel around the galaxy interacting with different parts of the queendom. We learn how do people live and exist in this queendom.
Interesting. Anyway, you were going to say, JP?
I just think that's really cool, Ira. It's a take I probably would not have arrived at on my own. I mean, I know you're a systems type of person, much to my jealousy. But seeing these settings through the lens of supply chains that's unique. I think that's really cool. I like that.
Sounds like
You
this.
two
I think.
have such... Sorry.
Go ahead.
You two have had such, educational and well thought out answers, and I'm just I want to stab it.
You say that like there's something wrong with that.
Well, sometimes
I think that's a great answer.
Indeed. Sometimes to get stuff, you need to stab something.
I mean, yeah, but... I don't know. Now I feel like I gotta compensate.
Sounds like you need to stab someone.
Vigorously.
I'll give them a donut first.
I think that's why you're a fan favorite, Ren.
Perhaps. We'll see.
Although, we did a very small poll, and the likes between the votes between each of you was very close, but Chiako did win by 1 point. So you are technically the favorite.
It was what? 6 votes, 5 votes, and then 4 votes?
Yeah, it was a 4, 5, 6 sort of thing. I want to say Petra was 4. Elisa was 5, and you were 6.
But then Petra also got voted as the coolest.
Yes, on the poll there was a comment saying Petra was the coolest, so Petra gets a phantom vote. Alright, as for me, well, I'm kind of developing all of it, so I will get to explore and, delve into everything as we go. But, putting the pieces together is fun. I come up with a piece and I'm just like, okay, how does this piece fit into what I've already established? What do I need to change about the piece to make it fit with what's established? What do I need to change about what's established, and how to not break things and how to logically extrapolate from there? I always enjoy world building and cosmology, so this kind of, fits in my wheelhouse. Although sometimes there are things like, oh, I want to bring this up, but they haven't gotten there yet, and I'm just like, yeah. Inwardly, mind you. Went, yeah, randomly.
Instead, you have to deal with our shenanigans.
What was that?
Instead, you have to deal with our shenanigans.
Luckily I am long past the phase of, oh no, the players are ruining my session, to, I'm just going to wind you guys up and see what you do.
That's a really, really healthy attitude for a GM to have. I cannot tell you the number of times when I've run into a GM that should, or somebody acting as a GM who should really be a fiction writer, and just was not interested at all in the decisions that the players were making. I really like that you give us a free hand with what we're doing.
Thank you. And that's
You're
also
going to regret it.
Oh no. And that's also kind of reflected in how I plan things. I build the setting, put the pieces there, and then just kind of like, if the three of you are marbles, I kind of, shake you up and then toss you into the little diorama that I've set up and see what happens. All right, so we've been doing this for nearly half hour. Don't want this to be too long, so last question. And it's a fun one. Not that they weren't all fun, but you get the idea. If in some alternate reality or some, fortuitous dumb luck stroke of, oh my gosh, this is actually happening, we got an animated adaptation for this adventure, who would you want voicing your character? And let's go with, I almost said Petra. Let's go with JP.
All right. Now, my apologies in advance to this rather amazing actress. I'm going to butcher her name, I think, but I believe it's pronounced Shori Agdashlu, an Iranian American woman who voiced, does a lot of voice acting for video games, including some of my favorite Quarians in Mass Effect. She also plays a character in an Assassin's Creed game, and she plays a really, really wonderful role in The Expanse.
She also She also played an enforcer in Arcane relatively not too long ago.
Ah, okay. There you go. She has, partially it's her voice, just the quality, the oral quality of her voice, of that sort of rumbling rasp sound. I think that fits the physical qualities of Petra's voice and face a lot. Petra has suffered some war wounds, and it has affected her voice and has scarred her face and required a bionic eye, and so that I think that comes through in this woman's voice, or would come through with this woman's voice.
So what you're saying is that Petra will never be in the Starwark Grove choir again?
Yes. She regrets giving up that opportunity that she so cherished. Yeah. But there's also the actress has Shori has had enough life experience that it comes through in her voice, and I think that expressiveness would kind of lead to or lend itself to Petra's world weariness. Just sort of I really think she could pull off Petra's, like, I don't really know why I'm here anymore. I'm just kind of doing the thing attitude a lot. And yeah. This question was actually very easy. You posted this and I immediately knew.
Good, I can dig it. I mean, I've heard her voice, and I'm just like, yeah, no, that is a good voice. All right. Ira, your turn. Who do you want voicing Alyssa?
I mean, most various voice actresses and whatnot are very talented. I'm sure many would come up with wonderful interpretations that are all pretty good. But if I have to choose, I'd probably say Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis, I know the name, obviously. I know I've probably seen them, but what have they done?
A lot of things. Have you seen the original Halloween film?
Long ago.
Yep. She's a very prolific actress, and it's been a lot of things. Probably the performance that most is impacting this choice is her role as a internal revenue agent in the film Everywhere at Once, or you can go by its full name, Everything Everywhere at Once.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now. I have a face for the name.
Yes.
Cool. Okie dokie. And Rin, who would voice Chiako? Unless you somehow think you can do it yourself.
In all honesty, I have no idea who I would want voicing Chiako.
All your years of anime has failed you?
I'm open. I'm open to suggestions though, but I just nothing comes to mind. I mean, there are plenty of people who could do a really good crazy person, I suppose, or a very, very bubbly / maniacal individual. But I don't have a specific person that comes to mind.
Okay, let's try this from a different route. Who's a character from anime or cartoons that you've seen who has a voice that you think would fit?
I mean, maybe Toga from My Hero Academia.
Okay, I could hear that. I'm sorry, I can't be more helpful because, I generally go subs over dubs personally.
Yeah, well, whatever. Elitist.
Who said anything about elitist? It's just a matter of personal preference. We can have personal preferences, man.
What about, I actually can't remember her name, Meth Girl from Welcome to Demon School or Umakun.
Oh, There's a thought.
I never saw it. But if you're suggesting it, then sure, that one.
Yeah.
What's her actual name? It's not Meth Girl, that's just what I call her.
Clara Valek. From Welcome to Demon School or Rumakun. She's energetic, bouncy, talks in sound effects. And when she gets really sad, you're just like, why have you made this poor child sad?
Sure. I'm no help, but sure.
That's a maybe. Alrighty, so on that happy note, we are... Let me see. Yeah, we're past the 30-minute mark, so I say let's call it here. Anyway, lovelies. Sorry, wrong show. Anyway, subjects.
Look at Mr. Hollywood over here.
Anyway, subjects. We hope you enjoyed listening to our semi-guided ramblings, although that could also be argued to describe our normal game sessions. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you have questions yourself, submit them and we can discuss them in the next time we do one of these behind the scenes. Until then, have a good day. Fare thee well. I was just hoping people would chime in to say goodbye, but
bye-bye.
Well, there we go.
Bye-bye.
And hi, Dad. Bye-bye.